who the hell remembers Bakugan, man? Bakugan, when I was a kid, was the best thing around for like cartoons, aside from like Scooby-Doo and, you know, stuff like that in my house. Like, we always used to watch Bakugan. Whenever there was an episode, we'd always fucking watch it. Whenever there was the replay of the episode, we'd always fucking watch it. Bakugan was fucking amazing. And then they released the toys for it, where the card had like magnets in, and then you throw the Bakugan on it and it like opened up. In our school, man, for like a whole, give or take, 4 months, the only thing we could do was like collect Bakugans. And if you were really brave and you decided to, you know, like bet your own Bakugan, you know, like actually have like a Bakugan battle, you would, if you lost, you'd have to give up your Bakugan. And now it was so fucking scary, and I would always go around because it was always the like grade like 2s and 3s to like the grade 6 and 7s. I would go to like the grade 7s and go watch their Bakugan fights because they were so much more like experienced with it because they'd study everything and that. So I'd go there, and because it was always separated, the grade like 1s to 6 were in like the front of the school, and while the 7s and upwards were like at the back of the school. So I'd sneak in there and I would watch their fights, and oh my god, Bakugan was amazing when I was a kid. And then you get the dog shit now, and then I feel like, man, we've really gone backwards in time, haven't we? Like, we regressed more than we've moved forward. Bakugan at the moment is dog shit, man. I don't know what happened or when it happened, but god, it sucked. No, I mean, we're just gonna watch this video and see. Oh man, the opening was also OP.
Man, I've never felt so intimidated when talking about a video, but there's so much I need to cover before I can even
This deal here was one of the better ones ever.
begin to talk about the actual show, so let's start with some important context.
The first season was fucking amazing.
Or as I used to call it when I was 6 years old, Bakugan, don't ask,
Bakugan.
is an anime made to
My one cousin used to call it that, man, and it annoyed the fuck out of me.
promote some toys in which people would throw balls on cards and the balls would transform into whatever, like dragons and stuff. I know it sounds weird, but it was really fun. A lot of people would just buy them for the novelty of the whole ball thing, but there was a card game that people played in the anime and it was pretty cool, not gonna lie.
It wasn't a card game. The card gave power-ups to the
You
Bakugan.
play it in real life too. And Bakugan kind of just like blew up, especially in Canada. It was on par with Beyblade and Yu-Gi-Oh! For soulless cash grab anime with really
I never really got into Beyblade. I was more into like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Bakugan. I don't know if you guys remember it, but it was like a knockoff of Bakugan. It was called Monsuno. Also, really good cartoon to watch. I don't remember what happened to it. I think it only had like 1 or 2 seasons, and then I don't know. But I quite enjoyed it as well, but I was never really into Beyblade.
cool products. The anime and toys went on to do its thing until like 2012 for a multitude of reasons that can be found out if you just watched Kodak's video. But to make a long story short, the anime kind of just went on with nothing super interesting happening after the 2nd season. The toys, on the other hand, just kind of started to look bad and powerful.
Yeah, no, they really got out of hand, and then they just started, they just fell off really badly.
was just on a whole new level. Again, this is a pretty abridged retelling of what happened, so you should probably just go watch Kodak's video unless I'm just so cool that you don't want to leave, which is understandable. Anyways, let's talk about what this video actually is about, you know, the Bakugan reboot.
Yep, very bad. I saw it on, by pure chance saw it on YouTube once, and oh my god, was that such a big disappointment.
Before we can, I kind of have to make some...
Wait, what? Like, that looks somewhat okay. Oh my god, what the fuck? Do not tell me that is Drago. If it is, what happened to you, man? You used to be so cool. Why is your horn so small? Oh god. Oh my god, why? Why is it so bad?
Before we can, I kind of have to make something
Why
else
is it
clear.
so
I'm gonna be
horrible?
ragging on the show and not the toys. The new ones are just straight up better than the old ones in every single way. I'm not even joking. They're higher quality, and the new card game has far more depth. I'm purely talking about the anime, which, as you will find out, might be the worst anime you'll ever see. Oh wait, I can't actually start the actual video yet because I have to talk about one last thing that I should acknowledge,
that
being
is?
that I kind of have no right to complain. Out of the 5 seasons of the show that are out, I watched
5!
3 and a bit of the 4th one, approximately 7 episodes. 7 times 10 actually. At some point, if I thought the show was bad, I should have just stopped, right? Yeah, pretty much. I kind of hate the whole if you don't like it, don't watch it argument, but at a certain
I also kind of hate it, but this is my how I go about watching something. I will not watch until it gets good. I will watch 10 episodes, and if those 10 episodes feel like a struggle, I'm done. I'm honestly done. Now, if it has fewer episodes, like give or take, like the Netflix live action One Piece, I gave it 3 episodes. Very good. It is honestly it is the best live action adaptation ever, but for me personally, I do not like live action. So I watched the first 3 episodes and I was like, okay, this is pretty good. It's not for me, so I'm not going to watch it. So I'm not going to, so I don't have to complain about it. That didn't really help. I did complain about it, but at the same time, it had so many good points that the bad points kind of got outweighed. So, yes. Is it good? Yes. Does it have bad points? Absolutely. But is it overall good and enjoyable? Yes. But yeah, no. If it's short, I'll give it 3 episodes. If it's very long, I'll give it 10 episodes. But if it's so much of a struggle to watch, I'm done. I'm so done. Like, I'm not gonna give One Piece 100 episodes to see if it gets good. No. I'm gonna give it 10, and if you're not hooked on it by then, stop watching it. Like, if you feel like you've got something better to do, instead of waste your time watching something bad, don't watch it. Stop watching it. It's why Velma is so bad. Because the first episode already showed you just exactly where this is going to go. And so, I watched it for one simple reason, because my family wanted to see how bad it was. And so, because there was nothing else to do at the time, I had to watch it. My phone was dead, so conveniently every fucking time, my phone was dead when they were watching it. And so, a couple, like, I think it was episode 6 and 7, where I was luckily my phone was charged, so I just decided to go somewhere else. But for about half of the show, my phone was dead. I had nothing else to do, and they were like, "Oh, just watch it, you know." I mean, we're watching it, so it's not that bad. And I was like, "What are you talking about? This shit is hot garbage." And yeah, no. So if you feel like you're struggling to watch it, just stop watching it.
I
Man.
really should have just stopped. If that
What a
makes my
long
argument
tangent on
invalid,
just
then by
about
all means,
watching
please
something.
ignore what I'm gonna say. Keep in mind, this video isn't gonna be like the others where I complain that it isn't the same as the original. Like, I get it, this isn't your Dan. I'm gonna be talking about the show on its own for the majority of the video. Plenty of other YouTubers have already said the same thing. I don't want to waste your time too much. First thing you might notice about the show is that it kinda looks awful. The Bakugan, which are the main appeal of the anime, kinda look, again, awful. I get why they're all
Why is it all like CGI?
robots to help blend in with the CGI art style, but this looks straight up
That's
bad.
bad.
I can't think of a single battle that looked good out of everything I've watched. Only one scene looks barely passable, and that's considering my insanely low standards. Again, I'm no animation expert, so feel free to ignore what I'm saying if it's just wrong, but why do they move so slowly? The first season didn't even have the cool Bakugan opening up thing. That's the coolest thing that they did. What the hell? The backgrounds look muddy, and they have jarring uses of CGI, and the overall
I don't like how he looks in this scene. I don't like. What is going on with his hand? Hello?
aesthetic of the show kind of looks...
Is that Tiger? What was the Bakugan? Tigera? Fuck. The white tiger.
I'm running out of
If
words.
it is,
that mean
I'm
awful
so
that don't involve
disappointed.
the dreaded S word.
What
Stupid.
the
The only way this could be
fuck?
considered remotely acceptable animation would be if the animators would pay $20 a year in Monopoly money. Okay, so you know how I said the rebooted card game was like actually good? Yeah, they don't use it in the show. I don't know why, but they just don't. Instead, they have a Pokemon-esque system in which the brawlers call out
Why?
attacks and throw these hexagons at them to power them up. I'm gonna be real, there's no...
okay, they did do that in the original, but they didn't use hexagons, they used power cards, and then they would activate it, and sometimes they would throw it, but most of the time they just activate it, and then the card would pop up onto, like, it would fill the screen out, and then it would say exactly what it did, and then the card would just activate. I believe in season 2 they did start throwing the cards towards the Bakugan to like power them up, but what the fuck is going on with these hexagons? Like, what?
Really no strategy to this since there's not a shred of power scaling in the show. Sometimes the characters pull out good strategies but never use them again. Sometimes the Bakugan just don't attack.
And that was the best thing about the original. Dan would always be like dumb, but he would always have like a plan, you know?
Heck, you can't predict
He's
this
that type of character, and I fucking loved it
how
as
much
a
they
kid.
focus on it, training barely
I actually rewatched Bakugan, what was it, like 8 months ago? Because I was feeling nostalgic about my childhood, and I was like, yeah, man, I remember loving Bakugan, let's go watch it again. And honestly, it holds up pretty damn well. Some of the scenes, or well, the voice acting, it does kind of fall off. Especially like the Dan's like girlfriend. What was her name? Mirai or something like that. Her voice kind of pisses me off at the moment. Well, now, but I was able to get over it, and I started falling in love with it again, and I was like, man, this stuff is this is so good. And then for whatever reason I couldn't find season 2, and then I was like sad. So that was fun.
In the first season, they introduced evolutions, which, as far as I remembered, only worked when the plot called for it, and they got rid of them in season 2. So what was even the point? They constantly act as if the awesome ones, later renamed Awesome Brawlers, which is still inferior to the Battle Brawlers, but like whatever, are the strongest ones around, which would make sense when you see them saving the world, and yet for some reason they lose to the dumbest stuff imaginable. One minute they're clapping Golden Bakugan, and the next thing you know, a generic bad guy is putting them on the ropes. It's especially infuriating with Dan, but we'll definitely get to that one later. The most interesting strategy in the show is losing on purpose so you can get an overpowered item that'll help you, and I don't even have to explain why that's super lame. The fighting system has about as much depth as a kiddie pool, even though it has no reason to be that lame. I get that they wanted a slightly younger audience and times have changed, but they didn't have to change the system so much. There are kids playing the full card game in real life. I don't see why this is necessary.
I didn't even know there was a card game.
And that's because they explain the effects. So why did they do this? Honestly, the voice acting is pretty hit or miss, but some do a pretty good job, like shoot.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that struggles to pronounce names. Sounds soft to me.
Winton, there we go. Only problem is their delivery. It's pretty bad.
If these are the same characters as the original, I hate their redesigns. Why? He was so if this is the character I think he is, you know, the water type, like the good guy. Fuck, I forgot his name. If this is him, I hate his redesign. If this is who I think she is, I really hate the redesign, man. Like, why? Like, it is so bad.
Feels as if they're at the mercy of the character's lip flaps, like in Speed Racer. Combine this and the animation, you have a pretty cheap show. Okay, but for real, if I can compare your voice acting to Speed Racer, that isn't a good thing.
It won't do any good. And anyway, you have a lot of work to do, starting right now.
Bro, I cannot for the life of me remember anything about the plot in the show. Okay, so that's probably a skill issue on my part, but there's barely anything worth noting.
Yeah, I feel like if you binge watch it, you forget a lot of things really fast. It's why if like with Netflix they release everything at once, I try to keep stuff at like 2 episodes max, like every time I watch. That way I can absorb lots of the information. Or like with Arcane, where every 3 episodes is like a new arc, and there's only like 9 episodes, so I'd watch 3 episodes, then 3 episodes, then 3 episodes. That lets you absorb everything and still enjoy it. Like, oh my god,
the show. I don't mind the episodic episodes, but the one where there's supposed to be a plot, I can't really remember what happens. First season, evil golden Bakugan. Second season, evil purple alien. Third season, I don't even know, bro. But hey, at least the characters are pretty cool, right?
No.
right? I'm gonna talk about the main characters for this section
hate the
since everybody else
redesigns.
can barely qualify
Why
as
is
a
there a
one-note
dog?
character. Let's start with our main character, Dan Kuso. I don't care that he isn't like the old one. After all, this is a reboot, but this guy kind of just, I don't know, he's not cool. He's supposed to be the confident, acting on impulse, generic main character, but he doesn't really grow in the slightest. He acts annoying and doesn't change. I have no problems with
Lovely.
stagnant
It's exactly
characters.
what
I
you
have
want.
no problems with characters that are meant to be annoying, but when you combine the two, it's kind of just infuriating. He makes the same mistakes over and over. That's it. He really isn't that interesting. Quentin is meant to be the smart guy, but he doesn't really act like that sometimes, and when he doesn't, it's really annoying. It's almost amazing how his Bakugan is an infinitely better character than him. Leah is alright. Yeah, she's pretty cool actually. She's probably the only one in the group with actual brain cells, not gonna lie.
Okay, so it's not the same character, then I don't mind. Because if it was the same character and it was that redesigned for that character, I would have hated. If that's a brand new character, actually pretty damn decent.
Man, Shun fell off so hard. He was arguably the most important character in season 1, and after that he kinda just vanishes. Barely any screen time in the later episodes. You're lucky to even hear him talk. Lightning isn't a character. Ajit was hyped up in season 2 and he had a
The dog isn't a character? Hold
You're
on.
lucky to even hear him talk. Lightning isn't a character. Ajit was hyped up in
Okay.
season 2 and he had a pretty interesting gimmick with the whole golden Bakugan, especially because of how overpowered they were in season 1. Let's be real here, his storyline was predictable as heck, and after season 2, he's as relevant as Shun, which isn't
Lovely.
saying much. Dumb, stupid, dumb, lame design. Great Value Masquerade is a lame character and a rip-off Shadow the Hedgehog. Can you tell I hate it? Athena, actually I'll just censor her name so everybody can feel like they're in a safe space. Athena is an annoying character, but not in the same way as Dan. She's just worse. Admittedly, I didn't watch much of season 4, so everything I'm saying could be irrelevant, and if that's the case, then it
Is that
is
a
what it
nine-tailed
is. Much of
fox
season
Bakugan? That looks like a nine-tailed fox Bakugan. That's
4, so
actually
everything I'm
interesting.
saying could be irrelevant, and if that's the case, then it is
That's
what
an
it is.
interesting
Still
idea for
kind of annoying
Bakugan.
right now. Athena's meant to be a smarter version of Dan, but it makes no sense why she's such a jerk to him. I get you're better than him, but maybe chill out? She uses the new gimmick better than him, but how come Dan can't? He has more experience than her, so why does he suck so much now, and why is she so smug about it? Like,
Yeah, but it's
bro,
an nine-tailed
he
fox,
saved your
wow.
life multiple times, and live footage of it was uploaded to the internet. What drugs are you on? I get that Dan is dumb sometimes and loses more often than he realistically should, but that's just the power system sucking even more than it should. The point I'm trying to make here is that the characters have about as much depth as a kid. Hey, wait, I said that already.
The good stuff. Let's go.
As you can guess, there isn't much to say here. Oh yeah, there's a character who doesn't support Bakugan battles because she believes it's harmful and organizes a camp.
Wow. You got Bakugan rights protesters. Lovely. Protesters.
To ban Bakugan battling, and that's funny no matter how you look at it.
Ita.
Time to stop having Bakugan battles. They hurt Bakugan.
The Drago's old voice actor came back. Oh shoot, my mind is going blank. Man, the show doesn't have to be this
Aw.
lame, and yet
I thought you were
here it
actually
is.
gonna
You
play
could have
a
given the
voice.
kids such a cool introduction to Bakugan, but yeah, I don't know, I guess this suffices. Like, come on, Leah can't carry this show on her own. How come Beyblade gets such a cool reboot, but this show just has to do this and suck?
You know, I really should go and watch Beyblade. I've always wanted to get into it, but again, I don't know, just something about it never hooked me hooked me in on it, and I don't know, man.
And it sucks
Maybe
a
if
lot.
I
Yeah,
force
this show
myself to
only
watch
exists
it.
to promote toys, but at least give it a bigger budget. Seriously though, why did I watch so much of this? I kept going in the hopes.
You know what show is actually somewhat good to promote toys? Ninjago. Yes, the newer seasons have fallen off dramatically. And yes, the new art style does not match up to the old one. But the original OG Ninjago up until season like 5, fucking epic. It was so good. So many interesting ideas, so many cool things about it. And even though I don't like the new ones, like the newer Ninjagos, it still kind of is good. The only new Ninjago that I actually quite enjoy is Rise of Dragons or something like that. I don't exactly know what's happening with all of the characters because I didn't continue watching after like season 5 of Ninjago, so I don't exactly know why the ninjas are so dumb and weak and why they're not the main focus anymore, and then they introduced the 2 new characters. So I don't exactly know what's going on there, but I'm actually quite enjoying it. I'm waiting for Netflix to release the next 10 episodes, man, because fuck me, they like releasing 10 episodes, waiting a year and then releasing the next, and then it just pisses me off. But yeah.
Said it would get better,
Actually, it's
but
really
it
good.
didn't. Obviously, if anything, it got worse. Again, I don't really have much to say now. This is just awful overall. There really isn't too much to say without it coming across as redundant. The show looks and feels cheap, the story is lacking, and the characters are, you know, not cool. Add on Athena and you have a pretty terrible reboot of a beloved franchise that you can watch all on Netflix. Moral of the story, just watch...
Of course it's a Netflix reboot. Of course they reboot it. No
Move the
fucking
story, man, it's way
wonder.
better.
That's right. Tourette's gone. This is Bakugan. Fucking love it. Whoops. Oops, sorry. What I was gonna say before I end this video, if there was a reboot, like a very good reboot of, what was it? Okay, so the cartoon was Generator Rex. If they make a very good reboot of that cartoon, it's gonna be so good. Like, it is, like, if it's a good reboot, not this type of reboot, an actual reboot of the show, I think it would be so good. Because the movie that they did with Ben 10 and Generator X was so good. It was actually so fucking good. I should rewatch that movie because I quite enjoyed it when I was young. Don't know if it's gonna hold up today, but God, did I love it. So that is all. Let me know what you guys think of the new Bakugan. If you guys have any other complaints about it, or complaints about any new reboots of any cartoons that you guys enjoyed as a kid, but hate now, let me know. I would very much appreciate to hear it, and hope you guys enjoyed.